The more I think about it, the more concerned I get about MJ Gray's situation. And I want you to pay attention to these concerns, because these concerns do not just apply to MJ Gray. This also applies in your life, in anybody's life, whether you're an influencer or not. And one thing that toxic, narcissistic, or generally abusive people will do is data collect, which means they'll watch you for a while before they approach you. And she is a very influential presence on TikTok, right? So he would have had the opportunity to watch her content, see what her values are, and really study her character. And the reason why these toxic, narcissistic, and abusive people data collect is to figure out the best way to approach you before approaching you, just to make sure that they approach you correctly, they mirror the right details correctly, etc., right? So that's my first concern. Because she has a huge platform, it would have been easy for him to data collect, study her, and approach her in the right way. The second concern for me is that her content is very anti-men, it's very empowered woman, and toxic, narcissistic, and abusive people don't like this kind of thing. In fact, they'll purposely make you a target because you speak on these things, because you stand for something that directly conflicts with who they are and what they're about. When you show up like that, when you show up empowered, they see that as a challenge to put you in your place. They target you to break that empowered spirit within you. Their aim is to get you to contradict everything that you stand on and or publicly humiliate you in a way that makes you lose credibility with others, but more importantly, makes you lose credibility with yourself, because that is the most important relationship you can have, right? So they want to intercept that strong relationship with yourself by getting you to contradict everything you stand for. And the more public, the better. And I see her getting married when she spent most of her time telling everybody not to get married and how against it she is. As part of that, you see the coverts don't come out and aggressively tell you that you need to do this and you need to do that. They like you to dismantle yourself, i.e. come on your own platform and say, I know I've always said this, but now I'm doing this type thing. So in that way, they keep their hands clean, right? It wasn't their fault. But the thing that I question about all of this, and the thing that I think that she's missing here, is if they're so aligned, if they're so right for each other, why does he require her to marry him, knowing that's something that she is dead against? Why is that even a factor in their relationship? Because he's been watching her, right? He met her on TikTok. So why is that now suddenly something he's asking her to do? Because if you think about it, it's no different from someone who meets a woman in a club, then turning around and saying that he doesn't want a woman who goes to clubs. You know what I mean? It's the same sort of thing that he's doing in this situation. He's met her as a person who stands against marriage, yet now suddenly he wants her to get married. Why? If you understand her so well and you have so much respect for her, why are you even asking her to contradict her values that she's been standing by all this time in such a way? Red flag, ladies. That's a red flag for her and a red flag for anybody trying to get you to do that in your life. In fact, someone directly trying to get you to contradict your values is disrespecting you. And it doesn't matter how it shows up. It doesn't matter if it shows up with a wedding ring, a Cartier bracelet, or a triple broad. Anybody trying to get you to contradict your own values that you've made very clear that you have, is actively disrespecting you. If he's truly the right person for her, he should be saying, I hear you, you don't want to get married, and I'm okay with that. And if he's not, why did he even approach her in the first place? If not to get her to contradict herself. Like, what are we doing? The third red flag for me is him rushing the relationship. They've known each other for 9 months. That is not enough time to assess anybody for marriage, especially when you have a large platform speaking up against the disempowerment of women and against marriage, especially then. The fourth red flag is more about her than him. The fact that she keeps saying that she's a smart woman. Smart women are targets of toxic, narcissistic, and abusive dynamics all the time. Being smart has nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it at all. And just by saying that, I know that she doesn't actually have a clue what she's talking about. Hear me when I say this. Anybody can be a target of these toxic, narcissistic, and abusive people. Anybody. Even me, and I've got a very, very, very keen eye for toxic, narcissistic, and abusive dynamics and BS. Very keen eye. So much so that the stuff that I call out can spark arguments until weeks, months, and even years later when life finally catches up to what I've been saying all along. And even I would never say that I'm above being manipulated. Never. The moment you start thinking in this way is the moment you become a perfect target. So where this woman thinks her smarts and intelligence is going to get her when it comes to this, I have no idea. Don't ever think that you're above it, and don't ever think that you're an exception to the rule, because that is the moment you become a perfect target. If you're going to date, you're going to be able to check your ego at the door, because these toxics will use it against you. And the final red flag for me is when she said that she wasn't able to go into any more details about their relationship because there were other people involved. And that makes me think two things: children or another woman. And unless that's not above board, she should still be able to talk about her and his relationship. So for me, even her saying that is a bit of a red flag, because what is happening aside from your relationship that's making it so that you can't talk about your relationship, even in a good way? It makes me question it. But those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section, and stay woke. Truth over everything. No woman left behind.